and to make movement skills a priority from day one with young children. I see that that is a big problem at many clubs where I observe coaches working. I observe kids taking classes and lessons. Movement and footwork is not a high priority. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the biggest reasons is it's not very popular, and a lot of kids don't want to move their feet. They don't want to run. And if I was a staff pro working at a club, I'd be in a tough situation, because if you start pushing kids to run and move and chase balls, and if teaching footwork requires discipline. I talk about this in Winning Pretty. And a lot of kids don't want that. A lot of parents don't even want that for their kids. And a lot of kids don't want to hear that message that they got to move. And they have to have really good activity or actividad in the legs and the feet. And so that can be quite an unpopular subject in your average, recreational club class, or any developmental class, even high performance classes. A lot of kids don't want to move. They don't want to move their feet. And that's one of the most beautiful principles that I've taken from Spain. And they're obsessed with movement in Spain. If you read The Secrets of Spanish Tennis, you'll see that that's a huge priority. Movement, agility, developing graceful flow on the court, fluidity, balance, all those things need to be developed in young kids from the very beginning. And they need to have a very high priority in the development. I have this tennis technique priority development triangle it's a model in my new book, Winning Pretty. And at the bottom of the triangle is movement skills and also ground stroke development. But movement skills is the base of the triangle, so important for kids. And what I also learned from studying with the great William Pato Alvarez, amazing Spanish coach who unfortunately has passed away, is that you want to try to clean the movement every day or regularly, if not every day. And that's something that is, far, far away from what happens in most American clubs and academies that I've seen. So cleaning the movement, cleaning the footwork every day is a huge thing for me. I'm doing it here with some of our full-time players. We have 3 full-time players here at the academy now who are homeschooled. Very exciting. So between writing and coaching, I've been super busy and just haven't been able to make many videos or podcasts. So I apologize for that. But cleaning the movement, taking players in 360 degrees, moving them left, laterally, right, laterally, deep and short, in and out, the Spanish way, and then teaching them all the details that they need in terms of footwork technique is huge, super important. So I would just say that is missing, and that's my number one principle to help juniors develop into world-class players. Like number one, movement skills, regularly cleaning the movement and footwork. So important. Number two, which you may not realize, we have a comment from a coach. We got a lot of coaches on the show, and I'm going to lose it. Okay, I got it. Thank you, Psycho Tennis. I know I appreciate your support. And did I lose the comment? Oh, I got it. I'm a coach from the UK, and the majority of coaches are stuck in the past technically and don't focus on movement at a young age. Yes, actually, I have many families from the UK who connect with me. I tried to help them remotely when they can't get to the States. I have a number of UK families who reach out to me, a number of UK coaches who reach out to me on my WhatsApp. You guys are welcome to connect with me on WhatsApp, share videos. My number is 914-462-2912, 914-462-2912, Chris Lewitt on WhatsApp. I have many families from around the world. They send me videos. I have a WhatsApp filled with videos of young, talented players, questions from coaches, questions from parents, and I always try to help. But it's very interesting for me actually to see players, young players, and their videos and how they're being developed around the world. But apparently the UK, this coach here says that they're kind of stuck in the past. They're not really teaching modern, cutting-edge technique, and I'm not surprised. I think the coaching education in the UK overall is like very, very strong. Most of the UK coaches whom I meet, they have very strong education and training, especially as you go through the levels that are required in the UK. But it's quite possible that much of the curriculum is not cutting edge, especially the emphasis on red, orange, green. I've had many parents complain to me how their kids are stuck in red, orange, green, and they're learning very rudimentary technique, kind of traditional technique. And for me, and in my new book, I really argue for cutting edge modern technique that's based on the latest biomechanical research and what we can see on the Pro Tour using high speed video analysis. I think that's really a main thrust of the book is let's teach kids the way the game is being played, and the game is being played very, very differently than it used to be. And all of that's based on high-speed video analysis and the research that's available. There's not a lot of research on biomechanics available, but we do the best we can with the evidence that we have. Number two, and this may surprise you, is to focus on topspin. And for me, topspin is not just a tactical thing or trying to bounce the ball up high and attack someone or to play it safe. For me, topspin is a technical priority. I try to get that going really early, believe it or not, sometimes from the very beginning. And because for me, it promotes a good swing path from underneath the ball and up. And it also helps me to develop elasticity. So one of the big thrusts in my new book, Winning Pretty, is that beautiful technique is elastic. And we should always try to create elastic, fluid technique. So that's what winning pretty means. It means that your technique is fluid, elastic, you have a good range of motion, and your strokes have a nice rhythm. And for me, working on topspin with young kids, it helps me get that. For example, if you cannot generate good topspin, you're probably pretty tight, you know. One moment, we have a question about cleaning. When you're cleaning, do you have a model player in your mind as coach for movement, or to help your kids have a standard and compare what you want the player to replicate? No, not one model player, but sometimes I'll use players as examples, like Alcaraz, who is very popular right now. His movement is extraordinary and beautiful, and Djokovic is a beautiful, beautiful mover. I definitely have favorite movers that I like, and I try to share those with the kids. Maybe I give them videos to watch. I'm really into like short clips on Instagram. I'll share a lot of Instagram videos or YouTube videos with my students to look at. I particularly like the movement of Alcaraz. On the women's side, I love the movement of Iga Swiatek, for example. So those are like some of my favorites. But basically, I have a footwork system that I developed over the years, just a methodology that is relatively simple and effective. Some of it's based on the work of David Bailey, whom I studied with. And I sort of tried to simplify his method of teaching footwork because I think he's brilliant, but his footwork method is a bit too complicated, even though it's very good. So and a lot of the footwork elements that I've learned come from Spain. So I've sort of created my own synthesis of footwork. I have a simple methodology that I use with all my students. I teach them the fundamentals that I move. The fundamentals that they will need to move well on the court and go to battle in high-level tournaments. So, but for me, those players that I mentioned are like the most beautiful movers, and there's many others as well. But those are a few that come to mind. So topspin for me is a huge priority. I could spend the whole show. I think I have done a podcast on developing topspin, but I link topspin with elasticity. And to me, elastic strokes are beautiful. They have a pretty component. And so that's sort of the linkage. That's the connection there. And so with young kids, I'm always trying to develop a looseness in their body, looseness in their arm or arms. And I want them to develop a nice topspin on the ball. And to me, that signifies that they are staying loose, not only to develop racket speed, but also to develop good spin. So spin and racket speed, those are two important things. To swing very hard, but as they progress in hands, you want spin with a power component. You don't just want a spinny ball that drops short. You want spin with power. So that becomes an important focus, because that is a danger of, if you just focus on spin, sometimes the kids don't hit through the ball enough. So moving along, because I want to get to all 15 if I can. If we don't get to all of them, we can always do another show. We could even do a half and half. It depends on how much you guys want to talk about each topic. But as I said, I think I have a whole show where I talk about developing topspin and keys there. It's in the archives. Number 3 is make it fun. for young kids, but teach technique. I really believe that kids should learn technique. So the idea of just playing games or games-based approach, I think games have their place sometimes within like a maybe like in a sandwich model, maybe you work on a technique, and then you go into a live ball format, an open format, and then you go back to some technical work in a closed format, or there is maybe a place for some games, but they have to be. For me, I like to make them technical games where the focus is on form and movement, and I just think that most kids between under 10, between the ages of 5 and 10, or between the age of 8 and 12, a lot of their development classes are more like entertainment. They're being entertained, but they're not being trained very well. And so I have no problem with a coach being dynamic and fun and having a great sense of humor. I think that's really, really important. But the kids need training. They need to learn a good base of modern, cutting edge technique based on the latest biomechanical research. They need that. It shouldn't just be fun and games. So if you have so many parents who contact me, and they send me videos of their kids' classes, and they're really not learning that much, and they're certainly not learning good movement and footwork, and I think that's a big mistake.